The ship landed on Settlement 7 with precision. Captain had scanned 1,000 human colonies before. Each one was the same. Humans were weak creatures. They needed machines to survive. They were easy to control. The scanning team walked down the ship ramp. There were 3 technicians and 1 security officer. They wore gray jumpsuits with metal badges on their chests. Their skin was pale gray, and their eyes were large and black. Each one had 3 fingers on each hand that moved with strange grace. Governor waited at the settlement landing zone. He was a tall man with gray hair and a serious face. The governor wore a blue uniform with gold buttons. Behind him stood colony security officers and workers. Everyone looked nervous. Captain approached the governor. The captain's voice was cold and direct. He said the coalition needed to scan all settlements. It was routine. They needed to record information about all humans. The scanning would not take long. It would not hurt. Governor nodded and shook the captain's hand. The governor understood what this really meant. The coalition did not trust humans. They wanted to know if humans could fight. They wanted to know if humans had weapons hidden somewhere. They wanted to know if humans were dangerous. The governor agreed to help with the scanning. He had no choice. The ship had weapons that could destroy the entire settlement in seconds. The only smart choice was cooperation. Inside the government building, sat in the observation room. She was 9 years old with red hair and blue eyes, was smart and read many books about Earth and the animals that lived there. She had learned about Africa and the creatures that hunted in those lands. Next to sat Jasper. Jasper was a honey badger. He weighed only 25 kilograms, but his body was solid muscle and thick skin. His claws were sharp and curved. His teeth were strong and powerful. Jasper's eyes were dark and alert. He watched everything around him. Had adopted Jasper 3 years ago when the animal was just a baby. Jasper had arrived on one of the supply ships from Earth. The little honey badger had been injured and scared, had fed him and cared for him. They had become a team. Now Jasper followed everywhere. He slept in her room. He ate with her. He protected her from anything that seemed dangerous. Listened while the adults talked about the scanning. She understood that the team did not trust humans. She could see it in their eyes and the way they spoke. The aliens looked at humans the way someone might look at insects. Not dangerous, not important, not worth much respect. Had read stories about Earth. She knew about the predators that lived there. She knew about lions and crocodiles and bears and snakes. She knew about the honey badgers especially. The book said honey badgers were not the biggest animals. They were not the fastest. But they never gave up. They fought animals 10 times their size and sometimes won. Honey badgers did not understand fear the way other animals did. Jasper had that same nature. The little animal was fearless. He would challenge dogs much bigger than himself. He would hiss and snap at anything he thought was a threat. He did not care about size or strength. He only cared about protecting his pack. Watch the technicians set up their equipment in the main hall. The scanning device was large and made of metal that looked very strong. It had many parts and lights that blinked. The machine made a low humming sound that made teeth ache. Governor came to the observation room and found his daughter. He placed his hand on her shoulder. He told her the scanning would take a few hours. Everyone in the settlement would need to pass through the machine. It was not dangerous. The just wanted information. Looked at her father. She could see worry in his face even though he tried to hide it. She looked down at Jasper. The honey badger was watching the team. His ears were forward. His nose was working, smelling the air. Jasper's body was tense. The animal knew something was wrong. Held Jasper's collar tight. The little badger pressed against her leg. His body was warm and solid, felt safer when Jasper was close to her. The first colonist walked into the scanning room. The machine activated with a bright light. The light scanned the person from top to bottom. Then the light turned off. The person walked out. The machine had recorded everything about them. Their body shape, their height, their weight, their blood type, their genes. The team wrote notes on a computer screen. Thought about what the book said. She thought about how honey badgers lived on Earth. They lived in places where other animals tried to kill them every day. They lived with snakes and crocodiles and lions nearby. But the honey badgers did not leave their homes. They did not run away. They stayed and fought. Jasper climbed into slap. The honey badger was not heavy, but his presence was important. Could feel his heartbeat. She could feel his strength even though he was small. She understood what the animal was feeling. Jasper did not like this place. He did not like these aliens. He did not trust the machines. More colonists went through the scanner. The team recorded their information. They filled computers with data about the humans. They stored details about genetics and family history and medical records. They built a profile of the entire settlement. Captain walked past the observation room. He looked at Jasper. The captain's expression did not change. He saw only a human child and a small animal, nothing worth attention, nothing worth concern. The captain smiled a thin smile and walked away. Felt her heart beat faster. She did not like that smile. She did not like how the captain looked at the humans. She did not like how the team treated them like experiments instead of people. Jasper made a sound in his throat. It was not quite a growl. It was something deeper. It was a warning. The honey badger had learned that sound from his ancestors. It meant danger. It meant something was wrong with the world around him. It meant protection was needed. The afternoon passed slowly. More colonists walked through the scanning machine. The humming sound continued. The lights flashed again and again. The team recorded everything. Held Jasper and waited. She did not know what would happen next. She did not know if the scanning would hurt anyone. She did not know what the plan to do with all the information they were collecting. Knew one thing for certain. Jasper would not let anything happen to her. The honey badger would never abandon her. The little animal would fight against anything that threatened her. That was what honey badgers did. They fought. They never quit. They were born from a world of danger, and morning came to Settlement 7. The sun rose over the gray buildings and red dust. Workers walked to their jobs. Children went to school. But everything felt different now. The ship hung in the sky above the settlement. It was a reminder that the humans here were not truly free. The technicians had worked through the night. They had prepared something new, a larger scanning device. This one was not portable. This one was serious business. It was built to scan more people at once. It was built to record more detailed information. Captain ordered the device moved to the center of the settlement's main plaza. The machine was loaded onto a platform with metal legs. Workers positioned it carefully. The device was made of materials that humans did not recognize. The metal was shiny and hard. It looked impossible to break. The scanning machine was shaped like a large square box. The front panel had lights and screens. The top had a long metal arm that could move in any direction. The arm had sensors and cameras and scanning equipment. The machine hummed with power. Electricity flowed through thick cables connected to the ship. Captain explained what would happen. All humans would need to pass through the scanning chamber. They would walk into the machine. The sensors would record their bodies. The machine would take images. It would measure their bones and muscles. It would analyze their blood type. It would read their genetic code. It would create a complete picture of every human in the settlement. The captain said this was routine. All coalition settlements went through the same process. The scanning would not hurt. It would not cause pain. It was only information gathering. The information would help the coalition understand humans better. It would help the coalition make fair decisions about how to treat humans. Governor stood with his arms crossed. He did not believe the captain. He knew this was about control. He knew the coalition wanted to know if humans were dangerous. He knew they wanted to catalog human capabilities, but he said nothing. They had weapons. Argument was useless. The scanning would begin with the children. The captain said children first. That way the parents would see that scanning was safe. That way parents would cooperate when their turn came. It was a smart strategy. Fear the parents by doing the children first. That was how predators worked. Walked through the settlement toward the main plaza. Jasper stayed close to her. The honey badger did not like the noise from the machine. He did not like the smell of the electricity. He did not like the presence of the team. The morning was hot. The sun burned down on the red rocks and red dust. The wind blew dust across the square, held Jasper's leash, but the badger was pulling forward. Jasper wanted to investigate the machine. The animal wanted to know what it was. The animal wanted to know if it was a threat. Other children gathered at the plaza. There were about 30 children in the settlement. They all looked nervous. Parents stood behind the children. Parents looked worried. Parents knew what scanning meant. They knew they were collecting information that would be sent to the coalition. That information would be used to control humans and judge humans and decide if humans were worth protecting. A technician named stood at the entrance to the scanning chamber, had pale gray skin and intelligent eyes, had 3 fingers on each hand that moved with precision, wore a uniform that showed he was in charge of the scanning process. Pointed at, she would be first. Understood, she was the governor's daughter. If went through without problems, other children would follow. If was hurt or scared, parents would rebel, so had to go first, had to be brave. walked toward the scanning chamber. Jasper pulled at his leash. The honey badger wanted to go with. The animal did not want to be separated from his pack member. Jasper made noise. He growled and hissed. He tried to pull forward. Raised his hand, told the animal could not enter the scanning chamber. Animals were not part of the study. Only humans, only. The animal would wait outside. Stopped walking. She held Jasper's collar. She could feel the badger's body shaking. She could feel his fear and anger. Jasper did not want to be left behind. Jasper did not trust these aliens with. Governor was watching. He wanted to tell his daughter to refuse. He wanted to take her and run, but running was useless. The ship had weapons. Escape was impossible. So the governor stayed silent and let his daughter walk into the scanning machine. Released the leash. She walked into the scanning chamber. The door closed behind her. Inside, the machine was cold and made strange sounds. The arm descended toward her. Lights turned on. The machine began its work. Outside, Jasper went crazy. The honey badger jumped at the door. He clawed at the metal frame. He bit at the panel. He hissed and snarled. He wanted to get to. He wanted to protect her. Governor held the badger back, grabbed Jasper and held him against his body. Could feel the animal's fear. Could feel the badger's need to protect his pack member. The scanning lasted 5 minutes. Then the door opened, walked out. She was not hurt. She was not scared. The machine had only scanned her. That was all. Jasper broke free from the governor's grip. The badger ran to and climbed into her arms. The animal was trembling. Jasper needed to know was okay. Jasper needed to feel her alive and real and present. Held Jasper tight. She whispered to the badger. She told him it was fine. She told him the machine only took pictures. It did not hurt. It was done now. Jasper could stop being afraid. But Jasper was not thinking about fear. Jasper was smelling. The badger was detecting the strange odor of the scanning machine on her clothes and skin. The badger was detecting something else, something electrical, something wrong. The honey badger's instincts were old. They came from millions of years of evolution on Earth. They came from a planet where danger was constant. Honey badgers had learned to sense threats that other animals could not sense. Jasper was sensing something about that machine, something dangerous, something wrong. The next child went through the scanner, then the next. One by one, children walked into the machine. One by one, they came out unharmed. Parents began to relax. Maybe the scanning was truly safe. Maybe the captain was telling the truth. But Jasper never relaxed. The badger stayed close to. Jasper's eyes stayed fixed on the scanning. Mach 3 hours had passed. The sun was high and hot. All the children in the settlement had been scanned. All the children walked out unharmed. Parents began to trust the process. Workers volunteered to go through the machine. One by one, they entered the scanning chamber. One by one, they returned unchanged. The team recorded everything. They filled their computers with data. They built a profile of the entire human settlement. They learned about genetics and family history and health conditions. They learned about strength and speed and intelligence. They collected information that would be sent to the Galactic Coalition. Jasper sat beside and watched. The honey badger's eyes never left the scanning machine. Every time someone went in, Jasper's body tensed. Every time someone came out, Jasper relaxed slightly. But the badger never fully relaxed. The animal knew something was wrong. The animal could sense it. Captain was satisfied. The scanning was going well. No problems, no resistance. The humans were cooperating. Soon the captain would have a complete record of the entire settlement. Soon the data would be analyzed. Soon the coalition would make decisions about the humans of Settlement 7. At midday, the team took a break, and the other technicians ate food at a table under a tent. They drank cold beverages. They talked about the scanning. They said the humans were boring. They said all humans were the same, soft and predictable and not dangerous. Sat with her father in the government building. Governor was worried. He had seen the data collection screens. He understood what the scanning was really doing. The machine was not just taking pictures. It was analyzing genetic code. It was looking for something specific. It was looking for markers. It was looking for evidence that humans still carried the genetic traits of Earth. The governor knew what this meant. The coalition feared humans. The coalition wanted to know if humans were still wild, still capable of violence, still dangerous. If the scanning found what the coalition was looking for, the humans of Settlement 7 would be classified as a threat. They would be watched more closely. They would be controlled more strictly. Governor told his daughter they would be fine. They would cooperate and everything would be normal. Understood her father was lying. Could see the fear in his face. but did not argue. She understood that sometimes adults needed to pretend everything was okay even when it was not. Jasper climbed into Slap. The badger needed to be close to the girl. The badger could sense her worry. The animal could feel her fear. Jasper pressed his small head against stomach and made a low sound. It was not quite a purr. It was something deeper. It was the sound of an animal promising protection. The afternoon scanning continued. More adults went through the machine. Governor was scanned. He entered the chamber and stood still while the machine worked. The lights flashed. The arm moved. The sensors recorded his genetic code and his bone structure and his muscle composition. The machine recorded that the governor was a strong human with good health and intelligent neural patterns. When the governor came out, saw him look different. Something had changed in his face. He had seen something in the scanning chamber. He had felt something wrong with the machine. The governor pulled his daughter aside. He whispered to her. He told her something was wrong with the machine. He told her the electromagnetic radiation was strong. He told her the radiation was higher than it should be. He told her the machine might be doing something more than just scanning. The machine might be doing something that could harm humans. Looked at Jasper. The badger was shaking. The animal could sense the electromagnetic energy coming from the machine. Animals were sensitive to electromagnetic radiation. Animals could feel it in their bones and their teeth and their fur. By late afternoon, most of the settlement had been scanned. Only a few more people needed to go through the machine. Captain was happy. The scanning would be finished by evening. Then the team would return to their ship. Then they would leave Settlement 7. But something was about to change. A power surge hit the scanning machine. The lights flashed bright. The humming sound became louder. The machine was entering its final stage. The captain explained that this was normal. The machine was compiling all the data it had gathered. It was creating final analysis of all the humans scanned today. During this final stage, the machine needed a final high-resolution scan. One more person needed to go through the chamber. The captain pointed at would be the final scan. The final scan needed a subject. It might as well be the governor's daughter. It would complete the circuit. Stood up, Jasper stood up too. The badger would not let the girl go anywhere alone, and Jasper walked toward the scanning machine, was waiting at the entrance. The technician told Jasper to wait outside. Jasper could not enter the scanning chamber. Animals were not allowed. Rules were rules. Entered the chamber. She stood in the center of the machine. The door closed behind her. The machine activated. The lights were brighter than before. The humming was louder. The electromagnetic radiation was much stronger. Outside, Jasper felt the change immediately. The badger's fur stood on end. The animal's teeth hurt. The badger could feel the electromagnetic energy washing over the settlement. It was strong and wrong and dangerous. Jasper did not think about rules. Jasper did not think about authority. Jasper only thought about was inside the machine, was in danger. The machine was a threat to his pack member. The honey badger moved toward the scanning chamber entrance, tried to stop him. The technician put out his hand, tried to push Jasper away. Jasper attacked. The badger was fast and fierce. Jasper jumped at the technician's hand. The badger's teeth found fingers. Jasper bit down hard, screamed and pulled his hand back. Jasper released the technician's hand and pushed through the open door. The honey badger entered the scanning chamber. Inside was standing at the machine's center. Jasper could see her. Jasper could smell the danger in the air. Jasper could feel the electromagnetic radiation that was trying to scan his pack member. The badger did not know what the machine was. The badger did not understand technology. The badger only knew that this machine was dangerous. The badger only knew that was in trouble. The badger only knew that he had to stop this machine. Jasper launched himself at the scanning device. The honey badger hit the machine with force. His claws struck the metal casing. Sparks flew. Jasper bit at the exposed wiring. His teeth crushed the plastic and copper. Jasper clawed at the power coupling. His strength was enormous compared to his size. The first impact damaged the outer casing. The second impact broke internal circuits. By the third strike, Jasper had torn apart a critical component. The honey badger's claws and teeth were designed for breaking through thick hide and bone. They worked just as well on technology made of metal and plastic. The scanning machine screamed. Lights flashed wildly. The electromagnetic surge that had been building up released all at once. The machine exploded in a shower of sparks and broken components. Metal pieces fell. Wires hung loose. The machine was destroyed. Jasper stood in the center of the wreckage. The badger was breathing hard. The animal's body was covered in small burns from the electrical discharge, but Jasper did not care about pain. Jasper only cared that the threat was gone. Ran to the badger. She picked up Jasper and held him against her body. The girl was crying, but not from fear, was crying because Jasper was hurt, was crying because she understood what had just happened. The honey badger had destroyed the machine. The animal had attacked and torn apart the scanning device. The technology that was supposed to be indestructible had been destroyed by a small animal from Earth. The plaza fell silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Everyone was looking at the destroyed scanning machine. Everyone was looking at Jasper. Everyone was understanding what had just happened. Captain walked toward the ruins of the machine. The captain stepped over broken pieces of metal. The captain examined the damage. The scanning device was completely destroyed. Every critical component was torn apart. Every circuit was burned out. The machine was nothing but junk now. The captain's security officer moved to protect him. The officer thought Jasper might attack again. But the honey badger was done fighting. Jasper was in arms. Jasper was burned and tired but satisfied. The threat was gone. His pack member was safe. Captain turned to face Governor. The captain's voice was cold and quiet. The captain said the animal had committed an act of aggression. The animal had attacked personnel. The animal had destroyed coalition property. There would be consequences. Governor stepped forward. He stood between the captain and his daughter. The governor said the animal had acted in defense. The animal had sensed danger to the child. The animal was protecting its pack member. On Earth, this was how animals survived. They protected each other. They fought threats. They never abandoned pack members. The governor said the scanning machine was dangerous. The governor said the electromagnetic radiation was too strong. The governor said the machine had put in danger. The governor said Jasper was correct to destroy it. Captain did not respond immediately. The captain was thinking. The captain was processing what had happened. The captain was understanding the implications. A scanning machine built with materials and technology designed to withstand weapons had been destroyed by a small animal. An animal that weighed only 25 kilograms. An animal that was not even aggressive by nature. An animal that only wanted to protect its pack member. The scanning machine was supposed to be indestructible. It had been designed to withstand radiation bursts and electromagnetic pulses and kinetic impacts. It had been designed to withstand weapons that could destroy buildings, but it could not withstand a honey badger protecting its pack. Captain realized something important. The coalition had underestimated humans. The coalition had assumed that civilization made creatures weak. The coalition had assumed that technology and law and order erased the animal instincts that made creatures dangerous. But humans had not erased those instincts. Humans had brought their animals with them to the stars. Humans had kept honey badgers and dogs and other creatures from Earth. Humans were deliberately maintaining the creatures that had made Earth dangerous. Humans were keeping those creatures as companions and as symbols of their own nature. The captain realized the true danger. Humans were not dangerous because they had weapons. Humans were dangerous because they refused to abandon the wild part of their nature. Humans had merged civilization with savagery. Humans had technology and instinct in the same package. Governor stood tall. He was not afraid anymore. He understood that Jasper had changed everything. He understood that the team would have to report what happened. He understood that the coalition would have to reconsider how they treated humans. The governor said the scanning was finished. The scanning data was destroyed. The analysis was incomplete. Jasper had protected and the settlement. Jasper had prevented the final scan that would have recorded its complete genetic code. The governor looked at Captain directly. The governor said that humans would not cooperate with any more scanning. Humans would not allow the coalition to catalog their genetic code. Humans would not allow the coalition to build a complete picture of human capabilities and limitations. Captain considered his options. He could order his security team to attack. He could force the humans to comply. But the captain knew that would not work. The humans had just shown what they were willing to do to protect each other. The humans would fight. The humans might lose, but they would fight. The captain could destroy the settlement with his ship. But destroying a settlement would be reported to the coalition. Destroying a settlement would cause problems for the captain. The captain had already lost an expensive scanning machine. Losing a settlement too would not be good for the captain's career. Captain made a decision. The scanning was finished. The data was incomplete, but it was sufficient. The scanning machine had gathered information about most of the settlement before it was destroyed. The captain would report what happened to Coalition Command. The captain would report that the scanning machine was destroyed by a human defense mechanism. The captain would report that humans had deliberately kept dangerous Earth animals. The captain would report that humans would resist any attempt to complete the genetic analysis. Captain ordered his team back to the ship. The security officer obeyed immediately. The technicians gathered their equipment. They left the destroyed scanning machine in the plaza. They walked back toward the vessel. As the team walked away, the technician was still holding his injured hand. Jasper's bite had broken 2 of his fingers, would need medical treatment, would need to be healed in the medical facility, would carry the scar of Jasper's attack for the rest of his life. Governor carried his daughter, was still holding Jasper. The badger was small enough to fit in the girl's arms. The animal was tired but alert. The badger had done what he was created to do. The badger had protected his pack. Other colonists gathered around the governor and his daughter. They looked at the destroyed scanning machine. They understood what had happened. They understood that an animal from Earth had protected them. They understood that Jasper had changed everything. Medical personnel came to examine Jasper. The badger had burns on his fur and small wounds on his claws, but the animal was not seriously hurt. The animal would recover. Jasper would be fine. But something else had happened too, something that was not about injuries, something about respect. The colonists of Settlement 7 now understood what the honey badger represented. Jasper represented the wild nature that humans carried inside them. Jasper represented the willingness to fight for pack members. Jasper represented the truth that some bonds are stronger than technology. The captain reached his ship and entered the vessel. He went to the communication station. He began recording a report for the Galactic Coalition. The captain explained what had happened. The captain said the scanning machine was destroyed. The captain said a human animal had attacked and destroyed Coalition technology. But the captain did not call Jasper a threat. The captain did not call the animal dangerous. The captain called Jasper a protector. The captain called Jasper a guardian. The captain said Jasper had done what animals on Earth did. Jasper had protected his pack member. The captain said the Coalition needed to understand that humans were not separated from Earth. Humans carried Earth with them. Humans brought their animals. Humans refused to abandon the nature that had made them who they were. The captain said humans might be more dangerous than anyone realized, not because of weapons, but because of loyalty. Humans and their animals would do anything to protect each other, even destroy machines, even fight against overwhelming odds, even refuse to cooperate with the Galactic Coalition. The scanning machine sat broken in the plaza. It was a monument now, a monument to Jasper, a monument to the wild nature of humans, a monument to the truth that some things are stronger than technology. Settlement 7 had changed. The place would never be the same. A small honey badger had faced down and the ship prepared to leave Settlement 7. Captain had filed his report. The Coalition had received the message. The Coalition command was reviewing the information. The Coalition was processing the fact that a scanning machine had been destroyed by a small animal. But the captain made a decision. He ordered the ship to remain in orbit for 3 more days. He wanted to observe more. He wanted to understand better. He wanted to comprehend how humans had kept their wild nature while achieving civilization. Governor agreed to let the captain stay and observe. The governor understood that this was important. The governor understood that the Coalition needed to see what humans were really like. The governor understood that Jasper's actions could change how the entire galaxy viewed human beings. The captain and a security officer came down to the settlement each day. They walked through the colony and watched how humans lived. They observed humans working with animals. They noted the relationships between humans and the creatures from Earth. The captain saw humans working with dogs in security roles. The dogs were alert and protective. The dogs would attack anything that threatened their human handlers. The captain understood that humans had deliberately kept predator animals to enhance their own capabilities. The captain saw humans training birds to carry messages and perform work. The birds were intelligent and responsive to training. The birds seemed to understand human intentions and human needs. The birds and humans had formed bonds that went beyond simple master and animal relationships. The captain watched humans with their families. He saw how humans protected their young. He saw how humans were willing to do anything to keep their children safe. He saw how human mothers and fathers would face danger without hesitation if their children were threatened. The captain realized that Jasper had simply acted like all humans did. Jasper had protected his pack member. Jasper had faced a threat and attacked it. Jasper had refused to abandon to danger. This was what humans did. This was what humans were. Played with Jasper in the settlement courtyard. The honey badger was recovered from his burns. The badger was healthy and active again. Jasper and chased each other across the red dust. They climbed on equipment. They rolled together on the ground. The captain watched this interaction. The captain saw pure joy in the girl's face. The captain saw trust and affection in the badger's movements. The captain understood that the bond between and Jasper was not about control or ownership. The bond was about loyalty and protection and family. Captain approached the girl and the badger, was cautious at first. She did not know what the alien wanted, but Jasper was not afraid. The badger seemed to understand that the captain meant no harm. The captain requested permission to observe Jasper for several minutes. Gave permission. She sat in the dust and held Jasper. The badger rested against her body. The captain sat nearby and watched. The captain saw Jasper's chest rising and falling with each breath. The captain saw the small animal's eyes watching the movement around them. The captain noticed how the badger never took his attention away from even while resting. The animal was always aware of his pack member. The animal was always ready to protect. The captain said something too. He said Jasper was a remarkable animal. He said the badger had shown great courage. He said the captain respected the badger's loyalty. Nodded, she said Jasper had always been protective. She said honey badgers were like that. They were small and did not care about size. They were fierce and did not care about danger. They were loyal and would never abandon their pack. The captain asked about Earth. He asked if honey badgers were common on that planet. He asked if all Earth animals were like Jasper. Explained that honey badgers were not common. Most Earth animals were smaller or less fierce than honey badgers. But all Earth animals had something in common. They all had to survive on a harsh world. They all had to be strong and quick and brave. They all had to protect themselves and their families. No animal on Earth could be weak or helpless. The captain understood. He said humans had brought that harshness with them to the stars. He said humans had refused to leave Earth's nature behind. He said this was why humans were more dangerous than the coalition had realized. On the final day, Captain returned to his ship. He took with him a complete understanding of human nature. He took with him a new respect for Earth creatures. He took with him a report that would change how the coalition treated human settlements. The captain filed his final assessment. He stated that humans were not a soft and manageable species. Humans were creatures who had evolved on a harsh and dangerous world. Humans had merged that dangerous nature with technology and civilization. Humans had created a new kind of being, a being that possessed both savagery and civilization, a being that would do anything to protect their pack members. The captain recommended that the coalition grant humans higher status. The captain said humans should not be managed like lesser species. The captain said humans had earned respect through their loyalty and their courage and their refusal to abandon their nature. The ship left orbit above Settlement 7. The ship accelerated away from the planet. The ship entered jump space and disappeared. Governor watched the ship leave. He held his daughter's hand, watched the ship disappear into the stars. The girl understood that something important had happened. She understood that Jasper had changed everything. Jasper stood on his hind legs and put his paws on his chest. The badger made a sound that was not quite a purr. It was a sound of satisfaction. The threat had left. The pack was safe. The badger had done his job. The news of what happened at Settlement 7 spread through human colonies. It spread through coalition networks. It spread through the galaxy. A small animal had faced an alien civilization. A small animal had protected a human child. A small animal had changed how the galaxy viewed humanity. Scientists wanted to study Jasper. Researchers wanted to understand his genetics and his strength and his courage, but refused all requests. Jasper was her companion. Jasper was her family. Jasper was not a subject for study. The coalition made a new policy. Humans would not be scanned. Humans would not have their genetic code recorded. Humans would not have their capabilities cataloged and measured. Humans would be treated as a species worthy of respect. Humans would be treated as partners in the coalition rather than subjects for examination. Other human settlements that had been scanned received the new policy. Those settlements were informed that their genetic data would be deleted. Their profiles would be erased. They would not be controlled or limited based on the scanning results. Settlement 7 became famous. The place where a honey badger had destroyed a scanning machine. The place where an earth animal had protected human dignity. The place where a small creature had shown the galaxy what humans really were. Grew up knowing what she and Jasper had done. She grew up understanding that sometimes the smallest acts of loyalty could reshape the future. She grew up believing that bonds between pack members were stronger than any technology. Jasper lived a long life for a honey badger. The animal lived with through her childhood and her teenage years. When Jasper finally became old and tired, he died in arms. The girl wept because she understood what she had lost. She had lost a friend and a protector and a symbol of Earth's wild nature. But Jasper's legacy remained. The broken pieces of the scanning machine stayed in Settlement 7's plaza. They became a monument to an animal that had changed history, a monument to loyalty and protection and the wild nature that humans carried inside them. The story of Jasper the honey badger spread through human literature and human culture. Children learned about the badger that had protected his pack member. Teachers used the story to teach about courage and loyalty. Artists created paintings and sculptures showing Jasper attacking the machine. The Galactic Coalition learned a valuable lesson. They learned that soft creatures with peaceful intentions could still be dangerous. They learned that civilization did not erase savagery. They learned that some bonds were stronger than weapons. They learned that humans were not beings to be managed. Humans were beings to be respected. And it had all started with a small animal, a honey badger named Jasper, a creature from Earth who understood one simple truth. Pack members must be protected. No matter the cost, no matter the danger, no matter how strong the threat, pack members must be protected. Alien civilization and one. A small animal had protected his pack member and destroyed a threat. A small creature from Earth had reminded the universe what it meant to be dangerous. Outside the chamber, the team stood frozen. Captain's face showed nothing, but his eyes were wide. His eyes showed shock. His eyes showed something else. His eyes showed fear. The scanning machine was destroyed. The data was lost. The analysis was incomplete. The final scan had never finished, had never been fully recorded by the machine. And a small animal from had just proved something they had not believed possible. The creatures from Earth were dangerous, not because of their weapons, but because they would fight anything to protect their pack members, even a machine, even technology that should be impossible to break. Jasper had shown the truth about humans. Humans brought Earth with them wherever they went. Humans brought the wild and dangerous nature of their birth planet to the stars, and their animals brought it too. Jasper's body stayed tense. Jasper was waiting for something. The badger knew danger when he sensed it. The badger was preparing for the moment when that danger would become real. Danger did not scare them. Governor returned to check on his daughter. He told her the scanning would continue through the evening, should stay in her room, should rest. Tomorrow would be a normal day. But knew nothing would ever be normal again. They had come to the settlement. They had brought their machines and their scanning. They had treated humans like animals to be studied. Something was going to happen, something important. Jasper pressed his head against chest. The honey badger knew it too. Something was coming, something that would change everything.